Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Gray Exchange with myself, your host, GreyMan. How is everybody doing out there this fine Tuesday afternoon? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm having to skip through my own commercials on my channel, but it is what it is. Hopefully you folks got the notification in my community tab. I try to send everybody to Nutrient Survival. They're doing 30 days of giveaways. A lot of you folks are aware of this. And hey, it's a chance at winning some free survival food and other things. So hopefully you guys have checked them out. If not, you can go to the community tab and go check it out. You can click on their channel, and they're going to do it to the end of September. A great company. I can't express more how awesome they are for a company that supports the prepperverse of things, our community and whatnot, as well as a lot of other communities like Alaska Prepper, Black Scout Survival, and the list goes on. So hello, everyone. And I guess let me say hello to some of you folks in chat before we get started. I know some folks are still coming over from the giveaway over there. So I'm going to say hello to some of you folks, and then we'll get into that. I also want to show you guys a couple things before we get into tonight's topic. Being tonight's topic, just so people don't get it confused, no, I'm not saying that Fiona is coming to Florida or anywhere near the United States specifically. I'm talking about hurricane preparedness. And I'm going to show you a clip that I put together for you folks to show you why we need to prepare in advance for situations like these. But what's up, JT? Always good to see you. Who else do we got in here? And exactly, that's what I was saying. Chris, Triple Threat Farms, good to see you. Seabass, Johnny Finance, Chet, good to see you as well. Creative Redundancy, Jasper's mom, One Girl's Trek, Rita Hunter, doing some canning. That's awesome, Rita. Chris Marie, Maryland, good to see you as well. I got some thunderstorms out there. Hey, being said, if you watched last week's live streams, I did rig my system up so we can go off grid technically if the power shuts. If I get off grid, the powers and the thunderstorm hits and whatnot will still be live because I have everything hooked up to a power source now, just in case. I should have had that, but everybody knows I'm getting ready to move. I had disconnected it and things happen. Anyways, let me continue real quick. Who else do we have? Biggs Prep is here. Good to see you. Prepping Survival, Little Miss Prepper, Pony Girl. Who else do we got this evening? Nancy, good to see you as well. Quest, Kathy D, Fat Man Prepper, D14, Yarn, good to see you. I'm here too. Timing, Roger that, Yarn Prepper. I figured they're getting ready to wrap it up. Who else did I miss? I think I see Sherry, PNW, Boots and Bounty, Libby Lauderdale, Joyce, Miss Terry, Rena LaRue. See if I missed anybody. I'm backing up a little bit. I know some folks will come in after the fact, but at least I wanted to thank you all for being here. Rainy Steps, thank you. Hello from Flat, Florida. Thank you, Rainy, for the super chat. Fred Petros, good to see you. Hello from Maine. Peg Leg Prepper, good to see you as well. Scotty Drake, what is up? Frontier Preppers, what's up, Billy? And I'm assuming possibly D. All right. Alan is here as well. And let me see. Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody here so far. I see Karen, Kaylin Strain, Little Stumpy, Patty. Anyways, folks, I did get my order in from Nutrient Survival. Come on, folks. Who doesn't want a shirt? This shirt is not only, it's not only from Nutrient Survival, but I mean, come on. This is a part of Alaska Prepper history. I had to get that. And of course I wanted this sticker, which is truly awesome. See if it'll focus on that. I mean, that is an awesome sticker. I will cherish that. And then you get your free, your NRE. So why not, right? You get a shirt and a free NRE. I thought that was awesome. I got a sticker. Thanks, Becky and Eric over at Nutrient Survival. I did pay for this, by the way. I used Alaska Prepper's link to get that. I saved, a few bucks on it, but I like to support my fellow channels out there that support Nutrient Survival as well. Yeah, that sticker is awesome. I love it. But yeah, the shirt, the sticker, they're just a great company, folks, and they do good things. All right, so what's up, Liz? Good to see you. Jennifer Cruz. Who else did I know? I got you, JT. Just Billy today, pretending to work. Roger that, Billy. Good to see you, my friend. Always good to see you. So what I want to do, Danaris, did I get you? Hello, everyone. Still no light or water here in Puerto Rico. Oh, Danaris is from Puerto Rico. Thank you for joining us, Danaris. She's living a firsthand experience in Puerto Rico. Remember, just not too long ago, they had to deal with Maria, and Maria was devastating. From my Puerto Rican friends here in Florida that I've discussed that came from Puerto Rico and basically had to come to Florida for to relatives or just got displaced and moved to Florida because of what Maria did to that. And there's still parts of the rural areas that still haven't even been kind of resolved since Maria. And then if we look at what happened in Louisiana and Katrina, that situation in itself, there's still parts of Louisiana that still haven't been fixed as well. So these things can be devastating. Remember, this storm was just, a Cat 1 coming onto the shores of Puerto Rico. But what's up, Dale Pilgrim? Good to see you all. I think I got you, Joyce. We're praying for the PR. I have a lot of my family there. Awesome, Jenner. I appreciate that. So here's what I want to do. This is a minute. It's about a minute and 15, 20 seconds long. It may be a little loud. So if you have your volume up, if you're watching this on your TV or phone, just be careful. I want to share this little clip to show you that this is why we prep, folks. This is why we're in the emergency preparedness field. And this is why it's a part of our lives. But let me show you this real fast. Absolutely devastating, folks. Absolutely devastating. A storm of a Cat 1. It's, of course, it's increased in strength now as it moves through the Dominican Republic, which has done some damage. The Turks and those areas as well. And just imagine something like that in your area. If you're on a coastal region, some even in the northern regions have dealt with, like, let's say, Sandy. But I wanted to show that just the devastation that's happening to Puerto Rico that they just went through. Over 1.3 million people without power. Only 30% of the folks out there have access to water. People are running their generators, but they don't know, once those generators run out of fuel, they don't know where they're going to get to recoup or sustain that fuel after they keep things running for so long. So hopes and prayers out there to all the folks in Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and anybody else who's in the path of this storm. And this is why I wanted to discuss this topic, folks. I live in Florida, and some of you folks are also Floridians in here. And anybody I didn't say hi to, thank you for joining us on this stream. It's just truly devastating to see those folks. That man with that gas can, gripping that pole under a bridge, that's heartbreaking, just because there's probably no one out there, or maybe they don't understand what emergency preparedness is, or maybe they haven't looked at what preppers are, because we get such a bad name on the media, that we're the crazy folks, that we're the tinfoil hats, that we're preparing for the zombies and the comets and the collapse of the world. Yes, there's part of that in the niche of being a prepper, but there's so much more to it. I've discussed so many times in the fact that it is something as simple as losing a job, a storm, a power outage, a blizzard, earthquakes like they had down in Mexico. They just had a horrible earthquake in Mexico. And the ironic thing about that is that just an hour before that earthquake hit Mexico, they were doing drills and practicing for earthquakes. And then an hour later, that was devastating to them as well. Things are happening, folks, and we need to stay prepared. What's up, Texas T? Good to see you. Allison, I see you as well. Caribbean House. My pleasure, Caribbean House. It's I'm a lot of people know that I'm Cuban. That's my descent, Cuban. I was born in Florida, but 90 miles off the shore of Cuba. I was born in Key West, and I've dealt with dozens and dozens of tropical storms, hurricanes, and everything throughout my life here in the Florida area, and that I've been in. And it's just truly mind-boggling to know that, and this is a FEMA statistic just to share with you folks. FEMA says that 43% of Americans, so you think there's roughly 350 million Americans, 43% of those Americans feel that it's unnecessary to prepare prior to a storm. That's millions and millions of people, folks, they just don't believe in preparedness. They don't believe that they should, oh, hey, we're moving into hurricane season. Maybe I should get some water, some food, some candles, some, extra, some games and things to weather the storm. You know what I mean? And they just don't look at it that way. And it's truly a shame that some of those folks being in a position like that may possibly lose their life, or worse, they may lose the life of someone they truly care about because of the fact they did not prepare. This is why I'm so passionate about, being a prepper or emergency preparedness, disaster survival, and all the stuff like that. The whole reason behind my channel was to try to at least reach some folks out there, plant that seed and let them know, hey, you're not alone. It's okay. There's a lot of us out here. We like to build community, and we like to share our thoughts and our processes when it comes to emergency preparedness. For the folks that don't want to bug out, that's fine. For the folks that want to bug in, that's fine. We're all sharing different types of things. And again, when it comes to the hurricane situation, some of those people in Puerto Rico, their house was inundated with water. They had no choice but to bug out. Not bug out in the sense that they're never coming home, but bug out in the sense that they're going to be displaced and have to go somewhere else. And that being said, then you have issues with crime and looting and people that take advantage of these situations. So having a bug out bag, having a plan for an emergency situation is huge, because then if everybody in the family has that plan set forth and they have their bug out bag, because they're going to be put into some sort of high school arena or some airport or some temporary shelter that the government sets up for them or whatever it may be, right? Because their house is they can't live in the house no more because it's either been destroyed, demolished, flood damage, mold, no power, whatever that case may be. They're going to have to grab that bag, preferably a bug out bag that you have all these important essentials in, because you still don't want to depend on the system, because they have a finite amount of materials and food and water to hand out to people. My always suggestion is you don't ever want to depend on someone else for your well-being and your children's well-being, specifically food, water, and medical supplies. Hopefully, there's enough for everyone to go around. But if we look at history, a lot of bad things have happened in chaotic situations like hurricanes that devastate an entire place, let's say like Louisiana, or for instance, Homestead in Florida. And the list goes on. Specifically, we're talking about Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic here. But that being said, it's just something that if you are someone who is in our community that has, exchanging ideas and learning from one another outside of just myself and other channels and, in the community, we can weather the storm a lot better when something like that approaches on our doorstep. And that's the real key factor here. Is I wish that I had a huge population of the Puerto Rican people watching my channel right now, because maybe I could have reached someone in one of the areas that were hit, and they were said, hey, Grey, because of you, I stocked up extra water. I did this, I did that. I was ready for this storm when it came to our shores. That would be extremely touching. So I do read a lot of comments, and a lot of times that people like to say, hey, Grey, you've helped me out. You've taught me something. And that really touches me, because that's my entire goal for this platform, is to help people learn something. And it's not like that I'm a know-it-all. They're far from it. I'm always willing to learn more, because we're always learning. I learn from you guys. I learn from your comments. I learn from other content creators. I learn from friends and family. It's just that's how things go. But anyways, I just wanted to touch on that, because that is just something that we're going to see develop over the next few weeks. And sorry if I missed chat. I just wanted to kind of get to that whole spiel and kind of show you in my take on the hurricane preparedness and how important it is. Every year in Florida, specifically, when hurricanes come to Florida, gas is gone. The water and food is wiped out off the shelves. And to myself, I'm always thinking when I'm watching TV and watching this happen, what's up, Bullseye? Good to see you. Bonnie, Deacon, I appreciate that, Deacon. Cooking Sherry, I'm late, but blame it on Eric and Becky. Right on, I appreciate that. But so it besieges me to the point where I'm just confused. Like, why is everybody doing this? We live in Florida. We are prone to hurricane storms, power outages, brownouts, and the list goes on, floods, flash flooding, all kinds of stuff like that. Why aren't the entire population of Florida ready? Why aren't they ready? Why don't they already have this at their home? Why aren't they set? And I know why. Is because a lot of times media will just say it's okay. And then they'll try to scare a bunch of people into doing things. Oh, a storm is approaching. It's a Cat 4 storm. It's a direct hit to your city, town, or state. And then it veers off. And then you're looking at yourself and you're like, well, I got all this stuff. This was a waste of money. No, it was not. Because a lot of that stuff that you buy, you can put back for something else that may happen. A hurricane is one thing, but there's always going to be something that's going to transpire that's going to put you in a situation that you're going to be thankful that you have these products, be it batteries and candles and ways to heat yourself and cool yourself. And if you're, into the big haul of things, solar generators, gas generators, and the list goes on, right? It's just, to me, having the necessary tools and the items to survive and thrive during a situation, like a situation like this, like a hurricane, is truly essential for not only just you. I always think about this. I always think about the people that I truly care about the most, which is my kids, my wife, and others that happen to, depend on me for things like this. And I hope that a lot of you folks, when you guys listen to, people on YouTube or you see things in the news, it makes you think to yourself, there's a real necessity to become a prepper. And I don't know why media has, deemed that word negative, but it's truly something that our ancestors have done for the dawn of time. They prepare for the winter. They prepare for this. They know the cycles of storms and stuff like that. They didn't have to have the news. They knew. They can feel it in the air and tell folks. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there was always mistakes, just like there's mistakes now. When you have a newscaster, putting a wind machine to make it look like he's being blown away when he's really not, or he's funneling wind down a specific street to make it look like it's more worse than it already is. But that's how they draw news, is by fear. And that's the last thing that I ever want to promote, is fear. So I just like to get people ready so that they don't have to fear a situation when it presents itself. We got Becky the tester, right, Mario? What's up, SJ Mullen? Good to see you as well. How many folks do we have in chat? We got 146 people and 82 thumbs up. I appreciate the thumbs up, folks. Thank you so much. So that being said, for you folks in the Gulf Coast right now, there's something I want to share with you because I think someone might even said it in chat. And let me see if I can pull this up. I know I have it here in a folder for you folks. Tuesday Live. There she is. Let's bring that down and let's share my screen. So that being said, this is a little bit old, but what I want to show you is Fiona's out here somewhere doing her thing, and she's veering off into the ocean. She's veering away from the United States, but she's already laid a huge path of destruction, which I already showed you through all this area right here. So this is another low that's developing, and I'm no weather forecaster, folks. This is just something that I want to this is what I look at. So I've been watching Weather Forecaster. There's certain channels that I watch here on YouTube outside of my local news, because sometimes the local news just hypes things up. And I watch all these weather models. And I have a program that I use for long range weather modeling as well. And the thing is if this storm happens to go, and this water is very, very warm through this area. It is 90 degrees, roughly like bath water. If this storm gets through this area without going too low and hitting any type of landmass and getting stuck anywhere in here, this storm has a direct path into the Gulf, and it's very conducive to create a pretty powerful storm. We've been luckily so far this year that it's been almost dead. Now things are heating up. So if anybody out there haven't, and they live in Texas, Louisiana, Miami, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and anywhere in these areas up here, because when the storm moves inland, it still brings heavy rains, tornadoes and stuff like that, is now you have a certain window. By next Wednesday, they expect this thing to be somewhere in this area. Some people have forecasted it to hit Central Florida. Where's where I'm at? I'm in Florida, and I'm in the Central Florida region. I'm not too concerned, but it could turn into a Cat 3 or Cat 4 hurricane and become something that could be devastating to the people along the coast. Maybe it hits Texas, Louisiana, and so on and so forth. So I really hope that you folks out there pay attention to some of this stuff. And if you're not prepping now, or you haven't gotten ready for something like a hurricane or even a tropical storm, I hope that you truly are. You don't want to get to the point where it's on your doorstep and you're like, oh, now you have to run to the store, because now you're going to deal with the panic amongst the normal population of that city, that town, that area. and things are going to be harder to get. You should already have your fuel. You should already have the maintenance done on your generator. You should have already tested all your equipment, verified your batteries, and everything that you need to weather a storm, be it a day to get through the storm or several days up to weeks or months after that fact, depending on your situation. Back in 2006 here in my area of Florida, the area that I live in, even in the city, they were without power for 2 weeks. And then out by where my father lives, in the more rural areas of the town that I live in, or the area that I live in, he was out of power for almost a month. They depended solely on the generator. And for a while, for about a week, they had no power at all. So when you don't have power, the pumps don't work, right? So you don't have the gas can't pump gas into the pumps, and you can't pay for your gas because the registers don't work. Now, some places have generators, others don't. So, and whoever does have this generator, there's going to be long lines, and people's tempers are going to be they're going to be flying. People are going to be very aggravated. You guys have seen it unfold before, which brings me to another topic, or another point to this, is that my main concern at anything ever truly devastating happened to our country that goes beyond just a storm, something that goes beyond a 2 week to a 30-day week, 2 week or 4 week period. Just imagine how people would react to that situation. So this is why it's so pertinent to me to just spread the word of emergency preparedness. You see, a nurse, the weather is getting so crazy this year. Lack of rain, too much rain, fires. Now comes the storms. Don't forget rolling blackouts, water shortages, inflation, war. Things are getting rough. A nurse, you're absolutely right. Things are getting to the point where it's just like, and I've heard this term go around for over a year now. It's called prepper fatigue, because people, you get so down sometimes because every time you turn on the news, there's something negative. You know what I mean? Be it the politics, be it the current events, be it the storms, and just so much stuff is happening. I just want to let you know that you will get through it, or at least I hope that you're prepared to get through it. You know, folks, I wish that that everyone, especially on my channel and other channels out there that, that kind of teach the same or preach the same per se, and the type of topics that I discuss, are at least prepared to a certain extent for whatever happens to, play itself out per se. I'm trying to, look at the words I want to use as I'm saying this. But what's up, Big Bear Prepper? Good to see you, Viv B. Weakening mag field. Yeah, I've seen that too as well, Viv. There's a lot of crazy things. I had these long discussions. I wish that these people would let me put them on camera. We're in there at my shop, and we have discussions, all types of discussions, from the crazy far-fetched to the religious aspect in the Bible to politics and current events. It's just a hodgepodge of conversations that I have over the 3 days that I work at my shop, and to get people's feedback and listen to them. And sometimes just by chance, I actually reach someone that comes in and is unfamiliar with the term prepping, or they look around my shop and like, hey, you guys have some fire starting kits, and you guys have some medical kits, and I see you got some other things in here. Why do you guys have that? And then I get to have that conversation with them in regards to, emergency preparedness. And sometimes it works. Sometimes like, oh, you're just crazy. And I'm not going to force my my views down anybody's throat in regards to whatever topic may be. But all I can do is, kind of educate them from my perspective on why I do what I do and why we carry some of the things in our store for preparedness. Thank you, Yarn. I appreciate that. Love it too. My favorite part is the wolf. It's nice to be a part of the wolf pack, folks. Love the wolf. Eric is awesome. Love the wolf. Becky, of course, she has her Tesla now. So that's great. Really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite mugs. The wife is trying to steal it from me, so I'm going to have to try to reach out to Becky and them folks and ask them if I can somehow buy another one before she steals my mug. What's up, Terry? Good to see you as well. Let me see. Wink, good to see you. Janine, or did I say that right? Jeanne? Hopefully I got that one right. What's up, Michelle? Good to see you as well. I agree, Linda Bob. Creative, it's always great to read your comments. What's up, SJ? SJ Mullen says, I can't imagine being without power for even 2 weeks. That would be rough. Let me see. Busy girl, good to see you. And winter is coming early. I think the Midwest is going to be dealing with a very crazy heat wave. I think is it this week? And then winter is going to start pushing into the northeastern region. But it's predicted that the central United States is going to be experiencing a very bad winter. So if you're in those areas, please get ready for whatever may happen. If you guys have lived in northern regions where you have ice storms and blizzards and snowstorms and you lose power, it gets cold quick. And if you don't have a wood burning stove or ways to heat yourself, you're putting your life and others in your home in danger, having, multiple sets of clothes, all kinds of things like that. There's just so much facets to when it comes to prepping. And I know it seems like it can be very complicated at times, but it's not, folks. Here's where people get things. The Rio 7018. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate the support. Asteroid strike. Yeah, right. Oh man. Minuteman. Where was I going with this? It's the fact that if you build a plan, this is where it starts on paper. I know it's old school. I know it sounds crazy. Who gets a pen and pad out anymore, right? I do. I get a pen and pad and try to assess my situation and draw up a plan that works best for me and my family. Because once you have it on paper, by writing it down, it kind of sticks a little bit better in here other than just kind of talking about it. So when you write something down, and if it's something that you want to, let's say you want to do a couple revisions of it, and talk with your family members of it. Let's say if you have someone in your family that's a diabetic or someone that's dependent on certain types of medications, or you have certain pets that need certain things. Thank you, Michelle. You want to prepare for that and have that in your plan. And if anything, laminate it and have it stuck to the refrigerator, or give a copy to everyone in your family so that everybody knows what the plan is. Once you build that foundation, you build up from that foundation. Then you start adding, your food pantry, your medicine cabinet, or your prepper meds, building your prepper library, and start going from there. You need to build that foundation and build up from there. And before you know it, within the next year or so, you'll be looking around and be like, wow, I've amassed a lot of preps. It takes time, folks. It can't be happening overnight. I've never ever wished that anybody would ever go out and max out their credit cards to go buy a pallet of food. It's just, that's going to put you in a situation. You don't want to put yourself in debt. It's just a nice, slow and steady wins the race. Now, some people will say, well, great, I just started and there's a hurricane coming my way. Well, you need to have some money set to aside and get the things prepared for that hurricane if that's your situation. If not, and you're in a situation where you have nothing pressing and you have the finances to do so, make sure you grab a couple extra things. And if you guys notice, food, eggs, milk, gas, everything is skyrocketed in price. So the folks that have been out there who's been prepping for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you're at the top of your game. The food that you bought 5 years ago is worth like 5 times what it used to cost. You know what I mean? So it's like almost a savings account to that extent. You know what I mean? Or an insurance plan, as I like to say. Fed Petros, let's get more likes. I appreciate that. Yeah, smash that like button if you're actually getting any value out of this. What's up, Ann Palmer? South Florida, DCL. I was just wondering about you the other day, brother, because I haven't seen you for a while, but I don't do a lot of live streams anymore. Just Tuesdays. Michelle says 35 years. Exactly, Michelle. Let me see. What can you do to help others who have things to share? Renegade, what can you do to help others who have things to share? Renegade, what do you mean? Do you mean specifically like you have things that you want to share with others, or you're talking about information, stuff like that? Thank you, A-Nurse. I appreciate that. I'm a SpaghettiOs millionaire. Scott, so am I. The kids love SpaghettiOs, so I've always stocked those up. Don't forget to sub and like. I just bought 8 cases of canned vegetables last Sunday. Right on, Minute Man. Let me see. Getting hubby's get home bag ready. As a trucker, he could be 1,500 miles from home. So an EMP will be worst case scenario, as he will be on foot avoiding main roads to get back home. Tara Smile, good to see you. So here, I want to touch on that subject real quick, Viv. So let's say you live 15 miles from your home, right? It doesn't seem far to you. You drive it every day, and you think, okay, 15 miles in a vehicle, no problem. I can get home in no time, right? And be home for, to watch the game or to, spend time with the family, and everything's going to be okay. The thing is if something goes sideways and you're stuck at work and the road that you normally are accustomed to going down gets convoluted with traffic or fires or there's a chemical leak, or there could be so many different things that could possibly happen that's going to excuse me, that's going to detour you from that route that you're normally used to. I hope that all of you have a map and understand how to use that map effectively and know all the different directions and ways to get to. What about if you have to get to your home and there is a lake or a river or a major highway or something that's blocked off and you have to go around it? So you got to do what they call a 90. So it's not a straight line to point A to B. It's going to be hard to do on a live stream, but you're going to go here, then you're going to go here, 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 and then home. So that 15 miles may turn into 25 miles. That may turn into 50 miles. So you have to account for that in your bug out bags or your get home bags or whatever that you have in your vehicle. Because again, a situation may present itself that you think, well, no, I don't need any type of sleeping gear. I don't need anything past a day or so. Whatever that you may think, you have to look beyond that. You have to kind of have a forethought of, well, what if my car breaks down, or what if I can't drive home, but I have to walk that 15 miles? Do you have a pair of extra socks? Do you have enough food? Do you have enough ways to start a fire? Do you have, something to sleep on or a place to sleep? Do you have ideas of your surroundings and how to get there without going down what you know? Because most people just know, okay, I take I-10 to, Highway 20, and then I turn a left and a right and I'm home. But what about if that route is inaccessible and you have to go in a different way? Some of you folks that live in the mountains, you know what I mean, that you have to go around mountains, or some of you folks that live in certain areas where you have to go over a long bridge that maybe, that bridge might be blocked, or that bridge might have got washed out, or there was an earthquake and you don't have access to that bridge anymore. What will you do? So you have to plan for those things. You see here, I'm going to jump back in chat. What's up, Farmer Son? Good to see you. Our Life, good to see you as well. Let me see here. My notebooks. I appreciate that, Linda, and thanks. And folks, you guys know I'm always accessible to you folks. A lot of people will email me. It may take me a week or so to get back to some of the emails because I'm just been busy lately. I hope to eventually get everything streamlined. I know a lot of you folks have been asking me, hey, Grey, how is the move? The move has not started yet. The packing has, which has been a nightmare. If you've ever moved and you're a prepper and moving all your gear and stuff and starting over, redoing your garden, redoing your pantry, redoing everything from nothing, or from having to tear everything down and put it somewhere else, it's a very complicated situation. That's why I really don't have a set schedule on YouTube at the moment, because I just can't. Expect detours. Right on, Creative. Let me see here. I'm looking to see Deacon Prepper's Crazy South Florida DCL's channel. If that's what you have, I will help. Renegade, you must be speaking to someone else in chat. If I'm wrong, please email me, Renegade, so that I can clarify it and I can share whatever information that you're trying to share out, possibly in the next live stream. What's up, Stealth Mode? Lord is free. Lord, it's a freezing nightmare. Let me see. Hello, Jen and JT. Prayers for you on that move. Was military, and I don't want to ever move again. A nurse, it is nightmarish. I'm trying to make it as smooth as possible, but there's always, again, even with prepping and situations like that, there's always roadblocks. There's always issues. Dealing with paperwork, dealing with restrictions and all the other stuff that you can and cannot do, and how much things cost. It is a very trying. And if anybody who's ever bought a house and moved into a place knows how much of a headache it can be. Good to see you as well, man. Kit Carlson, good to see you. Moving or having a tooth pulled? Yeah, that's a good one, Viv. That's a good one, Viv. Calamity Girl, hello from beyond the boonies in Wyoming. Good to see you as well. Roger that, Wink. My next move will be to a coffin. Right on, Deacon. Oh, man. I told my wife we have 2 moves left, or we have this move and one other. A lot of you folks know that with the housing market the way it is, we bought this house as an investment property to live in for a couple of years, to take the equity out of that home and to buy our homestead. We were trying to buy a homestead, but every time we tried to do that, it failed horribly. And some people say, well, Grey, why don't you move out of Florida? The reason I can is because we are kind of stuck. And what I mean by stuck is there's no one's going to give me the job and the businesses that I have here now, and the connections. And same with my wife, my daughter and her friends, and also my father, who is 72 years old. He just can't. He's set in his ways. He's not going anywhere. And I just can't up and leave and find something out in the Ozarks, and move up. I would like to, but I've made the decision to stay here in Florida. And some people will tell me, Florida's going to sink. Florida will no longer exist. The super 200-foot tsunami is going to wipe you away. Well, I guess that was God's plan if that was to ever happen. Frontier preppers, I pitched that to the wife and she's like, are you insane? She's like, I get cold in Florida. She said I would die in Alaska because I love Alaska. Alaska is the last frontier. The hunting, the beauty, and all that stuff in Alaska would be wonderful. I've always thought about at least trying to get a plot of land in Alaska to go out and visit. I would love to go visit Rudy and Billy and the other folks out there in Alaska one of these times. Who knows? It could be a possibility down the road. Linda Bopp, I understand a lot of people throw that question and they pose that question that they are going to bug in. Bug in is a smart move. Because you have all your preps in your home. Maybe, or if you're like me, you diversify your preps. Maybe you have some at your dad's or your parents' house. Maybe you have some in a storage facility. Maybe you have prepper caches along one of your hikes or ways, because you don't want to keep all your eggs in one basket, which is a very smart move. I've watched so many channels here on YouTube where their house burns down and they've lost everything due to the fact that they kept everything on their farm or they kept everything on their homestead. It's very horrible to hear those stories. So I diversify what I have. The bulk of my stuff, I keep in close proximity to me. But my main concern is if the world ever went sideways, is how safe the location I'm in would be per se, right? Because if you're in a city or even a suburb, the amount of people that would be doing bad things, possibly even trying to burn your home down with you in it, would give you a position where you wouldn't have a choice but to leave your home. And it's always good to, again, have a bug out bag or something in that case. You want to always better your odds and chance for survival. Now, some folks say, Grey, well, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm too old. I'm this, I'm that. I understand. You're probably going to do what you can. Like my father says, no matter what comes his way, he will die in his home, no matter what. And I respect him for that. At that point, me, I have a little bit more responsibilities. Like I said, I have young ones. I have, kids and a wife to take care of. So I'm going to do whatever I can in my possibility to my last breath to protect them and to keep them alive. Kaylin Strain. So that being said, I'm going to be putting out a video here either is it this week or next week? It's going to be a part 1 of a 5-part series, kind of like how I'm doing the 5 C's of survival for National Preparedness Month. I'm going to be building an off-grid, not a shelter, but I'm going to be building an off-grid solar system. I'm going to they're going to be a little bit brief in the beginning, and then you're going to see the development of this big battery and this kind of technical thing that I'm putting together and building a kind of almost like a portable off-grid scenario, something that can power my home or power at least large appliances outside of, let's say, like the Blue Yetis or the power inverters and generators that we have, like the Opuses and the, what else do I got? QuickTel. And I'm looking around because I got stuff packed here. I got a couple Blue Yetis and stuff like that. This is going to be something that's going to be, if the grid fails, it'll basically switch over to battery and solar. And I'm going to show you guys the steps that I'm doing that because it's new to me. And I'm going to be looking for feedback from you, my viewers, who might have experience with some of this equipment that I've been getting and slowly building out this thing. It's probably, like I said, it's going to be a 5-part series over several months as I build this. And I want you guys to be able to learn with me or as I go or give me feedback on things that I could do better. Like I said, it's always an evolving situation, but it should be a fun time. Bugging in here, making my stand at the farm. Right on, Okie Khan. If I had a farm, to be honest with you, or a decent piece of property out in a specific area, that's what I would do. I would probably die in my own brass at that point if I had no other choice. Because once you're in a rural environment, where else are you going to go? Are you going to go in the woods and take your family into the woods and try to have them survive? It's going to be very cumbersome and complicated. Now, it's not that I'm giving up. It's just the fact that at that point, there's a certain point where you're going to have to stand your ground, right? And some people say, well, I'll just be that lone wolf, or I'll be this person. I'll just keep on moving and moving and moving. But can your kids keep up with you? Can your wife keep up with you? Do you have a group like myself? We have a MAG. I have a mutual assistant group. I've spoken about it before. And there's some tough guys and gals in that group. But what you always have to do is you have to look at their families as well. And, that becomes an issue when you look at their families, because do they have 2 and 3 year olds, 5-year-olds, 8-year-olds? Do they have these little kids that can move like adults can? Can I see where I'm going with that? I'm going to back up a little bit, start with the watt meter, Gray. Roger that, Jeff. I think I have that already. I have the battery. I'll have to show you. Jeff, when I do the video, you can always comment and let me know things that I need to add. Because I'm still working on what solar panels I'm going to use. Right now, I have the battery and the inverter section of it, or power supply and stuff like that. I still got to buy some wires and things like that, but it should be fun. What's up, KY Survival 76? Good to see you. I'm backing up a little bit so I can see if I missed anything here. Farmer's son. Stealth mode. Father is the same. He was going to live in his home no matter what. Roger that, Stealth. And, like I said, he's at the age where no matter what happens, that's what he's going to do. What's up, Bougie? Good to see you as well. Energy. Terry Queen, that sounds very familiar. I forget the products that I have. But again, like I said, let me see here. We'll see how it plays out, right? Where are we at on time? We're at 42 minutes. I was only going to go about a half hour because I still have to. What's up, Tony? Good to see you. I still have to. Believe it or not, a lot of you folks who've been following me for quite some time know my situation. My wife, she's been working 6 days a week, and she's been working from 8 a.m. to about 11 p.m. at night, 6 days a week. So she's just really putting in the work, trying to put things together. So I'm having to do a little extra. Basically, I have to, help with the house and help with dinner and stuff like that. And then I have my 2 jobs, and then I have YouTube, and then we have the move. So again, things are fluid and a little bit complicated for me at the moment. But this is why I love my wife to death. She will do anything and everything to make sure that we're going to achieve our dreams in life. And I'm trying to meet her with the same amount of integrity that she adds to this relationship. It's always nice to have a partner that was willing to go above and beyond what you're even able to do, because that's going to tremendously help you down the road. Having a partner that doesn't understand, prepping or goals and stuff like that, things can get complicated. But, we're moving on 17 years now in February, so it's getting there. I know some of you folks have been together for 35, 45, 50 years, which is amazing. I hope to be there one day and be a grandfather and, watch my kids grow up and stuff like that. All we can do is hope for something like that, folks. That's all I want out of life. Is I just want to be left alone, grow my own food, raise some livestock, live off the land as best as I can without being dependent on the system or the grocery stores and stuff like that, and just sit on my rocking chair and yell at the grass or the deer that come by or whatever it may be. I just want a simple life. That's just my goal in life, is just to enjoy that aspect and grow old with my wife. I really appreciate that, Pony Girl. Thank you so much. Minuteman, it's your birthday. Why don't you say something, Minuteman? Happy birthday, brother. Thank you, Off the Wall. Amen to you as well, Pilgrim. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. You guys, and see, I depend on you folks as well. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like to the point where I'm so busy, but I have an obligation to you, my viewers, because a lot of folks, we need the community. It helps us get through some of the tough times that are ahead of us and that we're dealing with now. And it's nice to have a nice voice or someone else to talk to or listen to that's on the same mindset as you, especially if you live in an area where everybody seems to be, backwards, you know what I mean? And they're just doing crazy things. And you're looking around like, wow, I wish I had someone to talk to or a community to hang out with. And that's why we have the Grey community. We have the AP community. We have the nutrient survival community, and so on and so on and so on. And all these communities kind of intermingle with one another. And it's nice to know that we are not alone. Good evening, everyone. I clicked on this video and it took me to pinball. What the heck? Really, Joni? Who knows? I think pinball starts in about 15 minutes. Jan, is your dog's barking again? Let me see. Yeah, dog brought me a dead rat this morning. Big Frank. That's right. Wink. That's crazy. Let me see here. Moldy Soldier, good to see you as well. Let me see. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Let's get Frontier Preppers to 5,000 subs. Yes, if you haven't subbed to Billy and D over Frontier Preppers, great content, great people, friend of the channel. Like I said, there's a few of us that kind of mingle with one another. Frontier Preppers, Nutrient Survival, Alaska Prepper, and so on and so forth. A lot of folks out there. I've been watching Triple Threat Firearms. Me see Casey Little Owl, Michelle Mitten Prepper. And I'm probably missing so many. There's Creative Redundancy out there. There's just so many of you guys that have channels out there that do great content. I even find content that have no idea who I am and comment on their stuff, because I found this lady who's a prepper in the United Kingdom and been watching her content. She's a very small channel. I'd have to get her and share her out one of these times. But I've been watching her for about 2 or 3 weeks now. And it's interesting to see her perspective living in the United Kingdom and what's happening over there right now and how she's dealing with it. Been listening more than chatting, going through my preps. LOL. Roger that. And Triple Threat's in chat right now as we speak. She's definitely an awesome. I love her, the way her and her family get together and do things together. I love seeing that when people get their family involved, they get their kids involved. It's nice to see as a cohesive family working together and getting prepared for whatever may happen. You know, getting their hands dirty in the garden. And all that fun stuff like that. It's not only that you're building and teaching your children skills and other skills, but you're also building that bond with your children and whatnot. And I think that's awesome. What's up, McBean? Good to see you as well. There is no real simple life, right on, Terry. Moldy, did I miss something? Did someone pass away? I'm trying to back up. My father-in-law passed away a week ago, so I've been off the tube for most part. Moldy Soldier, my condolences. Prayers to you and your family. Let me see. Triple Threat has a great channel. Good info. Thank you, KW Survival. Yeah, she's awesome. I need a do-it-yourself Faraday cage for my Blue Yeti. Viv B, if you go to the EMP doctor, Dr. Bradley, he shows you how using an old trash can. You can buy the metal trash cans, and he shows you how to set up something very cheap. I want to say it's under $50. That you can put a Blue Yeti in there. You could possibly pull, maybe a couple other electronics in there, some radios, and things like that you can put in that trash can. Nothing is foolproof. There's a lot of companies out there that tout that they have the solutions, but have they been tested? I don't know. So I'm not going to recommend anything, but I know the EMP doctor, or Dr. Arthur Bradley, I've had him on the channel a couple of times. He's a pretty solid person. He works for NASA. He is a department head over there or whatnot. And he specializes in electromagnetic pulse and coronal mass ejections. So I feel he knows what he's talking about when he's having these discussions. Plus, he has a lot of products that he has to offer folks in regards to that situation and that scenario. Scotty Drake, I agree 100%. Community is very important. Let me see. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything in chat, so I'm going to back up. If you guys have any last questions, we got about another we got about a little under 10 minutes to go before I go ahead and wrap this up. If you guys have any questions, Deacon Prepper says, Southern Prepper 1 showed turning a metal cabinet into an EMP protection. You know, Deacon, you know what my favorite thing is? I would love to get a shipping container and turn that into because I've seen this one guy, I can't remember the channel, he turns an entire shipping container into a Faraday cage. Basically, all of his important electronics, he basically built somewhat of a bunker out of it, as a fallback location on his property, on his farm. But the way he had it grounded and whatnot, basically everything inside that shipping container was basically going to be protected from an EMP or coronal mass ejection. It was very intriguing in how he did it. There's so many great ideas out there. And just think about this. I'm a small YouTube channel, And there's some other channels that I've come across that just have such great content. There's just so many awesome channels out there. It's hard to name them all. But it's what's great about having a platform where you can reach out and look at other different people's things and learn from a lot of different perspectives outside of just, let's say, my own or your own. We always learn from each other when it comes to that. DJ Mitch, thank you. I appreciate that. Let me see. I own a lot of manual tools and appliances for EMP and alien prepper. I agree 100%. Good to see you, brother. Roger that, moldy soldier. That's what I always tell everybody too. If you can get tools, things that they used to use, even in colonial times or what the Amish use, things that you don't need power for, that you can continue living the life. Of course, you're going to put a little bit more calories into it, burning calories, a little bit more work into that. The things that don't need power, that's also a nice step to take forward in case, the grid goes down, be it an EMP or coronal mass ejection, or just the grid goes down for a certain amount of time, or a terrorist attack or a cyber attack, anything like that of that nature that may ever happen. Because to me, my main concern is the grid is very, very vulnerable. And from all the research I've done, there's a lot of people in government as well as in the military that feel that that is America's weakest point, is our energy grid. Let me see. Unfortunately, we really won't know if it works until after it happens. Deacon, you're absolutely correct. All you can do is, like I said, prepare to the best of your ability and hope that you have what you need when you need it, when things happen to present itself. But in my point of view, it's better to have than not have, and be prepared for anything, or at least anything that you can possibly think of that you can be prepared for. There's certain things that are going to be devastating. If we ever go to like a full-on exchange of nuclear in exchange with other countries like Russia and China, and that ever really happens, the majority of the population will probably most likely be wiped out, depending on where the bombs hit, right? That's just a fact. Will some people want to live in a post-apocalyptic nuclear fallout situation? Some will, some may not. You know what I mean? So it depends on your perspective of life and what's important to you and what you're willing to go through to keep on going. Jennifer Cruz says, will you / have you done a winter preparedness video? Jennifer, I've done some winter preparedness stuff. I've done videos on hypothermia and stuff like that. But I will probably, as we get closer to fall, I will probably, because it's really hot here in Florida. We're kind of more in a rainy season at the moment. But I will touch on winter preparedness. I like to touch on those topics even in Florida, because hypothermia is a risk that can happen anywhere. You can get hypothermia in a desert. You know what I mean? So yes, I will probably touch on winter preparedness as well. Yeah, exactly. Wink. See, Wink kind of, took it right off the tip of my tongue, is that some people think, Florida, why is he talking about winter preparedness? Well, folks, if you know my background, being in the Army, I've been a lot of places, but also I lived in Michigan I went there, I moved to Michigan and when I was 10, and was there till I was 15, moved back down to Florida. And then what else did I do? Then I got into the Army, and then I moved back to Michigan for a few more years to help my mom before she moved down here. So I learned a lot in Michigan. And if you live in Michigan like Michelle does, you know how bad things can get in Michigan, especially the lake effect snows. And the winter in Michigan is so horrible to the fact it's like Florida in its humidity. In Michigan, it's a wet, chill you to the bone type of cold. It's not a dry cold. It's a wet cold. It's horrible. I remember one of the years that we were living there, I think it was late January, early February. We had this massive ice storm. It coated everything in ice. The power line snapped, trees snapped, the streets and sidewalks, everything was covered in sheets, at least a quarter to a half inch thick of ice, maybe even worse in some parts. And man, was that a bad scenario. But luckily we had a fireplace, and my stepfather, he always chopped so much wood that we could have wood for several years. He was always on point with that because he lived in Michigan most of his life. So he was always prepared for winter situations. Let me see. Freezing rain is the worst. Exactly, Creative. It's, snow is one thing, but the freezing rain is just horrible. Busy Girl says parts of Alaska are warmer than Michigan. Really? Peg Leg Purpose says, why do I live where the air hurts my face? Good old New York. Roger that. Let me see. Northern Michigan with plenty of wood. Roger that, Bullseye. Pony Girl says much of our weather is controlled by humans. I guess you're speaking about HARP, aren't you? What's up, Romans 12:18? I worry more about hackers and sappers taking down the grid. And Romans, you could be absolutely correct in that. They're always testing things. If you look at our history, they're always doing probes to our grid. They may even have an in already. We might even know that they have it set up just to turn the switch off at any moment. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen in an hour from now, or it could happen, 10, 15 years down the road. People say, no, it's America. We can't be hacked. But we've been hacked so many times. We've looked over the last few years and we've looked at these businesses that have been brought down to their knees and had to pay these ransomware attacks. If not, their businesses would have collapsed. So it's always plausible that that could possibly happen. All you Floridians would die in Wisconsin. Yarn Prepper, I've talked to Mark a lot about that. And Mark said, Gray, you would probably have a hard time here in Wisconsin. And Mark, I said, yes, you would probably have a hard time here in Florida, because people who move to Florida underestimate the heat and humidity of Florida. And if you were to go on just a walk to walk the dog, I've seen people drop like flies from heat stroke and exhaustion because they don't know how to proper hydrate themselves or deal with the Florida sun and humidity. Just think about being 100 degrees and having a 95% humidity on top of that is pretty nasty. But I can only imagine, like I said, living in Michigan, I learned a lot about winter, camping and whatnot. And it was intriguing. It's definitely a big game changer down here in Florida. Yarn says, I would die in Florida. Well, Yarn, if you ever come to visit, you're always welcome in my home. And I would keep you cool. I have enough solar power and backup powers to keep the AC running. Infrared Survival says, you would learn, great man. I grew up in southern Arizona and then lived in Fairbanks, Alaska. That's awesome, Infrared. Yes, I'm very adaptive. That's one thing the military, I agree, would have to have taught me, is to adapt and overcome whatever situation presents itself. That's just something that's been entrenched into my thought process and the way I live my life. And most humans are pretty good at adapting. Most. Viv B says, I would melt away in Florida in a humidity puddle. A lot of people do, Viv. A lot of people do. Maybe I can sweat out this excess weight in Florida. Jennifer, I think that all the time too, because when I'm in the garden, I feel like I've just lost 15 pounds, but I still put myself on the scale and I'm still weighing the same. But I'm going to be, I'm going to be taking some tips from Mick Bean that I've watched his content and some other people that are great at providing nutritional ideas and things like that, because I'm not happy with where I'm at in my own self. And what I mean by that is you should never do it for other people. You should do things for yourself. And my goal is to be a lot more physically fit and a lot more able for myself specifically. And then of course that would translate into being a better prepared and better equipped to help my family. Nevada. I've heard a lot of people talk about Nevada, but is Nevada a dry heat or is it like a humid heat like this? Like heat raised in Nevada was hot. I hate humidity. Roger that. Because some people tell me in California it's hot, but there's no humidity or something like that. At least Florida has beaches. Most of Georgia doesn't. Yeah, Jan, you're absolutely right. We do have beaches. The breeze off the water is amazing, especially on hot, sunny days. If you're under a palm tree or a coconut tree and you're relaxing, and you got your hammock up and you have a nice cold drink, and you're relaxing, it's nice. It definitely is. Listening to the ocean waves crash is pretty cool. His sweetie, good to see you as well. And Busy Girl, that's what I miss a lot. We don't have Okeechobee. Lake Okeechobee is the biggest natural water here in Florida, as far as I can recall. I'm pretty sure. Other than that, we just have little creeks and rivers and canals and stuff like that we can do some freshwater fishing, which I really like. But lately, I've been doing a lot of saltwater fishing. Poppy Purpose says Nevada winter is very cold. I've heard that as well. You're up there. You're pretty up in that northern region. Speaking of Nevada, I think they're going to be having a pretty harsh winter this year as well. But you never know. I miss living across the street from the beach. That's awesome, Jan. When it gets cold, lizards fall out of the trees in Florida. Mitch, you're absolutely right. And it's kind of intriguing. I've noticed that the iguanas have slowly moved up with all this heat. They have moved into my area from South Florida into the Central Florida region. I've been seeing more iguanas, more snakes, a lot of extreme wildlife on my hikes. Dry heat. Thank you, Minuteman. But folks, We are at an hour. I know other folks are going live around 8 p.m. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to thank every single one of you folks for joining me on this live stream. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your Tuesday evening, joining the great community and conversating with one another. I want to thank the mods exactly for doing what they do. The mods, like I said, they are the glue that keeps this thing all together and keeping it family friendly and keeping everybody, content, especially if I miss questions or I forget to say hi to folks. You mods are some of the best mods. You guys rock. But all in all, folks, remember that, folks, you are not alone. We have an amazing community here and many others. You know what I mean? And if you ever have any questions, just reach out to me, folks. I have an email. I'm on different social media platforms. You can reach out to me, and I'll try to get to your questions that I may have missed here on the live stream. I do rewatch the live stream to try to catch things that I might have missed, but sometimes I still miss them. My pleasure, Marty. But thank you all for joining us, or joining me, and I should say joining us, the great community, and doing this live stream. Other than that, I will see you guys next Tuesday at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I got some announcements to make, and we're getting closer to that 20K. So don't forget, the £1 silver giveaway will be coming up sooner than later. All right, folks, stay safe. Remember, you're not alone. God bless. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys on the rebound.